Hello YouTubers. Well, it's all done. My 2003 Harley-Davidson Ultra Classic is done. What did I do? I put in a three-phase stator, rotor, and regulator from Cycle Electric, and I ended up putting in a new main circuit breaker. Where are you hiding? You're in there. You can see the nut in there. So that's a new circuit breaker because the old one crumbled when I removed the bolts. To do the regulator on this series Ultra Classic, you have to run that wire, and they give you, Cycle Electric gives you the harness, all along the frame rail over there, and then to the regulator. And one thing that makes that their regulator is nice, besides being a good quality regulator, is that there are terminals for ring terminals on the bottom of the regulator, so that you don't need to fiddle with a connector. So, by the way, as I've mentioned in other videos, this motorcycle has 112,000 miles on it. Although the engine doesn't have that, neither does the transmission, because the transmission is a 6-speed unit. Don't forget, this is a 2003, so that's a Screaming Eagle 6-speed transmission. I still haven't buttoned it all up yet, as far as the bags and stuff are concerned. Haven't put the seat on, but to do the stator, I had to, of course, remove the cover and take out the old rotor. Now, the old rotor on the single-phase unit, believe it or not, is a more powerful rotor than on the three-phase unit, which delivers more amperage, delivers 50 amps as opposed to 45 amps. So how does it do that? With smaller magnets. And well, the way it's done is that the stator, it's all on the stator. Many more poles on the stator. So think of it like smaller cylinders on, like as a V12 engine compared to a 4-cylinder. Just smooth power. And why is that important? Because it's that pounding of the high pulses that keeps destroying regulators on this series of motorcycles. I've said it before in other videos, but I'm saying it here again. So I did a little cleanup in areas that, like for instance over here, that get ignored when you remove the covers. They're just, well, they look like they haven't been seen in 20 years. Well, that's pretty much the truth. So 6-speed transmission, long block, which was done about, well, 35,000 miles ago. And the symptoms that I was having with the Stator was that at idle, the voltmeter that's on the dashboard stayed at 12 volts, and the top tech at Harley-Davidson, who had done the work, you know, put in the stator, said, "Oh, that's normal," you know. And I knew it wasn't, but he wasn't going to look at it and investigate. So I lived with it for probably a couple of years, and then it just failed. And by the way, I had some horrific oil leaks. I didn't realize how bad they were from the transmission seals until I took the inner primary off. So while I was doing the stator, it was you know, time to do the transmission seals. So the inner primary came off, and you've got the main shaft seal, and then you have a 5th gear seal. Although on a 6-speed transmission, it's really an input-output seal. It rides between the input shaft and the output shaft. In 5th gear, which is a 1-to-1 ratio, that seal isn't really doing anything. You know, there's no difference in the shaft speeds. But in 1st through 4th and then 6th gear, there's a rotational difference, and so that's how that works. So I had to explore how you seal this series of trans, which is, this series of primary case, which is harder. So I did those seals in the transmission. So the main shaft seal, the input-output, and then the quad ring. Quad ring is like no biggie, but the other ones you got to pick at, but especially the input-output seal. That is just a bear to get out because it's really sneaky in there. And the manual doesn't show how you do it when the trans is assembled. They only show you how to put the seal in when it's disassembled. So anyway, after doing all that stuff and waiting for special tools, you've got an inner race tool, and of course I had the walk-in problem, so the original inner race removal tool was useless and didn't work. So I bought one from Jameco, which uses a unique way of attacking that input-output race. I hope I didn't say seal. It's a race, and it goes on the input shaft of the transmission, and it surrounds the pulley. Oh yeah, pulleys had to come off, and that's always fun. Lots of torque. So now we're going to start the bike, and that was what I was waiting for. I still haven't ridden it to see whether I fixed the leaks, which I'm very confident I have. But this is what I wanted to see. So, and there's one thing I want to show you about my lift, which is a Harbor Freight lift. Well, two things I'll show you. Well, first, when I started working on this project, and I've lifted this bike up many times, it's at the limit. You know, Harley-Davidson says 1,000 pounds, so it's pretty much there. Well, this jack handle sheared, and I had a guy weld it together for me, and hopefully it'll last long enough for me to pump up the jack to relieve the pressure. I ordered one from Harbor Freight, just the handle, and they sent me the wrong one, and it's 2 millimeters too small for that shaft. That's the newer ones, so I'm pretty upset about that. So they figured out their mistake, and they ordered the right one, and I can't get it. It's on back, like forever back order. So I don't know what I'll do about that. And the other thing I really wanted to show you was my chock, which might interest you guys. It's from a company called Wheel Lock. There's their phone number. And it's got a hydraulic ram. And what you do, and what I was looking to get past, is the fact that on these ramps, on these wheel chocks, which I call teeter-totter type, they've got like a little teeter-totter that the front wheel rides over, and it goes, and then it flips around and kind of locks the wheel in. Well, the problem is when you're backing a big bike like this up, I can't, on this narrow lift, and that's one of the problems with a Harbor Freight lift, is that it's narrow. You can't really get, good steady feet support. So this, you roll on flat, you step on the pedal here, and that actuates this bar, which moves up and literally just draws the wheel right in. Strong enough to hold the bike up while you get straps on it. So if any of you are having that problem, I recommend it. It adds a few $100s, but you know, I had gotten this lift when it was like $289. I really hope I can get it fixed. So like I said, hopefully I can get it off the safety bar one last time for this project, so that I can pull it out and then gently drop the bike. So there you go. There she is, and then now I got to just put the bags back on, the seat, and we're all good to go. Thank you for listening and watching.